Fox 61's Gabby Molina has more on this holiday travel season.
Bradley International Airport on Christmas Eve morning was very quiet. Not a lot of passengers coming in and out of the airport. But overall, across the country, TSA says that yesterday was one of the busiest days they've seen in months. 1,191,123 passengers went through TSA checkpoints nationwide on the 23rd, ahead of celebrating Christmas. It's the highest checkpoint volume since March 16th, despite CDC recommendations to stay home. Here in Connecticut, Governor Lamont also wanted to see people spend the holiday locally.
I'm urging with every bone in my body to ask people to be cautious a little bit longer. That's how we get through this.
Those who are traveling said they were going to see family, a meaningful part of the holidays to them.
Family, friends, laughter, joy, with everything going on, I think it's very important to keep that spirit alive more than ever. And not, full on everything that happened.
Passengers flying out of Bradley on Christmas Eve didn't come across long lines and hoped the airplane wouldn't be crowded either.
All the flights I've been on have been pretty good as far as being crowded. They've been doing a good job. I think that just wear your mask and you should be pretty good.
AAA anticipates that most holiday travel will be done on the roads rather than in the sky, however.
That the majority of people who do decide to travel are doing so in their vehicles because they can control the environment and also make a last-minute decision to change their minds and possibly stay home.
No matter what form of travel you take, under the state's current travel advisory, anyone coming into Connecticut will have to quarantine for 10 days or get a negative COVID-19 test. The only exceptions are travelers from New York, New Jersey, and Rhode Island.
I did take the test to make sure that I was negative, and then, with the regulations, I have to do it again. So, so have to be careful.
And that's what the CDC suggests. If you do have to travel, take all the safety precautions and cancel the trip if you're feeling sick. In Windsor Locks, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.